All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. This is the State Expedited Accusations calendar in the State Court of Fulton County, Georgia. I'm Judge Melanie Williams. At this calendar, we will address bond for those who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused and bound over to state court. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney today. All participants, this proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch. When I ask if you understand your rights, those are the rights to which I am referring. All right. Have all members of the public defender's office and conflict attorneys had the opportunity to interview their clients?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. Who do we have first at the jail?
Position number 15, Perry.
All right, give me one moment. I'm sorry. Hold on. You said 15?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Perry. Your case is 23 CR 00519-8Y. In this case, you're charged with battery, family violence. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history, please?
17 total. 2020 theft by taking. You're on probation for a sale of marijuana, possession of controlled substance in a drug-free commercial zone. I got a 2020 home invasion, giving false name, arrest. 2013 ag assault conviction. That's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Falk, is this your case?
It is, Your Honor. And just to let you know, on the Dontavius Perry case with the home invasion, that is 23 SC 187705. He's charged with aggravated assault, robbery, as well as a variety of other charges. He's currently in custody on an FTA where he failed to appear on that case and is now in jail, not only on our new case, but on a no bond on that case. We are also showing a 2013 aggravated assault conviction, a 2014 FTA, and a 2017 entering auto where he received 3 years in prison, as well as a 2016 and 2020 FTA. This incident happened June 9th, 2023 at the intersection of Broad and Alabama. Brittany Hayes advised she and her child's father had an agreement to meet at that location to pick up children for the weekend. The defendant stated he changed his mind and would only pick up one of the children instead of all 4 of the children. Ms. Hayes stated when she arrived at that scene, they got into a verbal altercation. The defendant hit her in the face with a gun and fled. The video, however, shows there was in fact an altercation, but no firearm could be seen by the officer. Ms. Hayes did have a laceration to the side of her mouth as a result of this, which the officers were able to observe. So what we're dealing with, Your Honor, is a defendant who has not only been convicted of aggravated assault in the last 10 years, he is currently on no bond for an FTA on an open aggravated assault robbery case, as well as has 2016, 2020, and 2014 FTAs. So 3 FTAs within the last 3 years. That does not include the one he is currently on hold for. This all adds up to a person who is a high flight risk, as well as a danger to both Ms. Hayes as well as to others. For that reason, the state is asking for a $7,500 surety bond, no further contact with Brittany Hayes. There is any visitation with the children, we are asking that be a third-party visitation, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we would like to sound for Ms. Brittany Hayes at this time.
Is Ms. Hayes present and wishes to make a statement? All right. Is the person that says iPhone, is that Ms. Hayes by any chance? Says I can't hear anything. All right, I'm assuming no. Go ahead, Ms. McLeod, please proceed.
Your Honor, my client is 28 years old. He is originally from Atlanta. He lives here, has a good address, which he gave to me. This incident allegedly happened, I believe, the 9th of June. The complaining witness, Your Honor, my client tells me, is the mother of 2 of his children. He tells me that when she came, the arrangement was for him to pick up one of his children because the other child was not there. She brought 3 other children which are not his children. And of course, he did not want to take those children with him, so she became upset. He absolutely denies that he had a weapon, Your Honor, and the warrant says that there was no weapon. So we know that the complaining witness does not always accurately tell law enforcement what the facts are, because she did say that he had a gun and my client denies it and no gun was seen, even though there was a camera. In fact, the camera may have seen the marking, but there's nothing in the warrant that says that the camera picked up my client hitting her, because my client denies that he ever put his hand on her, Your Honor. I understand that my client does have some history, but these are all allegations against him. A $7,500 bond is a very high bond, given the fact that my client, even though he's employed, does not have a lot of money to pay bonds. So I would definitely ask the court to consider giving him a much lower bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Defendant will receive a $4,500 surety bond. He's to have no contact with Ms. Hayes, who I'm going to sound for one more time. Ms. Hayes, are you present? Okay. Additionally, I'm sorry, Ms. Falk, did you request to stay away? I guess the stay away is not necessary as they don't necessarily live together. Is that correct?
They don't
To
live
my
together,
knowledge-
Your Honor.
To my knowledge, Your Honor, they do not live together, and this was a drop-off pickup point for the children.
Okay. They can arrange transport by coordinating with a third party. Additionally, he is to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition, and he will be reset to state all purpose on September the 7th of this year, whereby this bond can be revisited. Is there anything further?
Nothing further,
From the
Your Honor.
state.
All
And
right.
that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Have a great weekend, Ms. McLeod.
You
Take
too,
care.
Your Honor. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Who do we have next?
Number 13,
All right. Mr. Nephew, your case is 23 CR 005. I'm sorry, CR 0052003J. You're charged with disorderly conduct and obstruction. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Howard?
15 total. Last arrest was in January, failure to appear. On probation for felony obstruction and resisting obstruction of law enforcement officers on duty. It says with animals or humans out of Liberty County. 2022 failure to appear. 2022 disorderly conduct. 2021 terrorist threats. Disorderly conduct, obstruction, NOLO. Another 2021 disorderly conduct conviction. Battery conviction from 2019. 2018 simple battery conviction. And 2017 simple battery DV conviction, along with some trespass. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor, this happened August 25th, 2023 at 2701 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest, which when I looked it up on Google appears to be a Burger King. The officer spoke to Tiana Fallon, who's the manager at that location. She stated the defendant entered, caused a disturbance because he was upset about his order. She tried to give him his money back and a drink for his trouble, and apparently an argument ensued. She said she told the defendant she was sorry, but she was not going to be told what she was going to do. The defendant was then seen on video taking his money and then leaving and returning a couple of seconds or moments later with his shirt off. The defendant then tried to force his way into the restaurant and reached into his bag after the encounter with employees, which they took to mean that he was reaching for something. The officers did observe the defendant, told him to get on the ground. The defendant took off running and was apprehended. The defendant did make the initial call about the disturbance at the restaurant, but officers, when they reviewed the surveillance footage, found that there was nothing to validate in his claims. And in fact, they ID'd him as the predominant aggressor in that situation. As you've already heard, this defendant seems to have a little bit of a history with disorderly conduct. He has at least two prior convictions for disorderly conduct, an FTA, probation violation, and a felony obstruction out of Liberty County, which he's actually currently also on a foreign hold from Liberty County here at the jail. For that reason, the state is requesting a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on the disorderly conduct, $1,000 on the obstruction of law enforcement officer. Stay away from the Burger King. It's 2701 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest in Atlanta. no further contact with Tiana Fallon, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We would, just out of an abundance of caution, like to sound for Miss Fallon. I do not believe she's here, but I would like to sound for her.
All right, is Ms. Fallon present? All right, hearing and seeing none, Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is only 23 young. He was born in Georgia. Other than 7 years that he lived in Oklahoma, he has been here all his life, last 16 years, Your Honor. Even though he tried to get a job, odd jobs, and self-employment as a lawn care business and independent contractor to provide daily labor, he has not been able to make enough money for the last almost 1.5 months. And so he's qualified for public defender services, Your Honor. He completed up to 11th grade, and he's still pursuing his GED, and it is very important for him to play basketball, and he's still dreaming to pursue his career there. We would like to request for a signature on bond. This was where he was very disrespectfully treated. He had a hair on his food, his sandwich, and when he requested the refund, I don't want to get into too much facts of the case, but he got the short money and he just wanted to get treated well. Instead of getting respected, for some reason, he was misunderstood as if he had some kind of weapon to be treated really mean and hostile, in a hostile manner by managers. And we believe that my client is innocent of this case, and I would like him to have a signature on bond. And he says that the Liberty County issues has been taken care of because he was already in jail for that. That's it, Your Honor. We would like to request for a signature on bond. No further contact with the manager, Ms. Fallon. Stay away from Burger King is not a problem at all. Thank you.
All right, defendant will receive $1,000 surety bond, 500 each count. He's to have no contact with Ms. Fallon. Stay away from that Burger King or Metropolitan. Additionally, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I seem to be having a smidge of computer problems. Can you repeat that bond for me again?
1,500 each count.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next? I'm sorry. Are you asking? Is he asking a question about the bond?
Mr. Nephew, I'll be happy to call you if you have any question. You can ask me.
All
Did
right.
you say 1,500 each count for a total of 3?
No, I said 1,500 each count.
Oh, 500. Okay, thank you.
Position 1,
All right, Mr. Abercrombie, your case is 23 CR 005213G. You're charged with simple battery, family violence, and giving false information with the offense date of August the 23rd. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Howard, can I have that history, please?
40 total. I don't have any violent charges in my notes, but he's on probation for drug possession of meth. 2020 probation, 2019 fade to appear petty theft conviction, and a 2011 burglary, enter an auto conviction.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hudak, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. It does indicate to me that he should be violating Rockdale County probation, and he is also on a hold from Forsyth County. Officers were called to the above.
Please mute iPhone. Ms. Champion, if you would mute, and ma'am, whoever you are, we're gonna need you to sit down or turn off your camera. It's very distracting. Please proceed, Ms. Hudak. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officers were called to 1778 Lakewood Avenue, where they were flagged down by a witness, Stephen Locke, who showed the officer a video of the accused, Mr. Thomas Abercrombie, engaged in what appeared to be striking a woman who was screaming for help. Neither the female or the male were on scene at that time. However, shortly thereafter, Mr. Locke called the officers back to the location to tell them that Mr. Abercrombie and the victim in this case, Shannon Hardegree, had returned. The officer saw the man, Mr. Abercrombie, wearing the same outfit as the man in the video. He asked the male and female what was going on. They said that they were only in a verbal fight. The officer told them that he saw the video, and the male, Mr. Abercrombie, said that he was only hugging Miss Hardigree. Officers asked their names. The defendant gave the name Donald Abercrombie with the same date of birth. The officer ran the name and noticed the picture in the record did not match the aesthetics of Mr. Thomas Abercrombie. Donald, the Abercrombie, the name given, was also wanted for warrants. The defendant, who was in the rear of the car, overheard the officer and said, "That's not me. My name is Thomas." Thomas Abercrombie also had active warrants and was taken into custody. Your Honor, the officer also noted that Mr. Abercrombie appeared to be under the influence of a controlled substance. For that reason, the continued suspected drug use, violations of probation, active warrants out of Forsyth County, we're recommending a $6,000 good bond total, $3,000 at the simple battery, $3,000 surety bond at the false name to law enforcement, drug and alcohol evaluation, stay away from 1778 Lakewood Avenue, no further contact with Shannon Hardigree, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and at the appropriate time, we would ask that you sound for Miss Hardigree.
All right, is Ms. Hardigree present? All right, hearing and seeing none. Mr. Coleman, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond from Mr. Abercrombie. He is 38 years of age. He is currently employed at Home Depot and working in customer service. Mr. Abercrombie does have his GED. Although he does have somewhat of a lengthy criminal history, there are no convictions for any violent offenses. I remind the court at this time, these are just allegations against Mr. Abercrombie. I will be requesting a signature bond on his behalf.
All right, at this time, defendant will receive a $2,500 surety bond, $1,500 count one, $1,000 count two. He's to have no contact with Ms. Hardigree and stay away from that location on Lakewood Avenue. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 3.
All right, is it Mr. Berry? I'm sorry. All
Miss-
right, Miss Berry. Okay, I apologize. Your case is 23 CR 005211G. In this case, you're charged with violation of a family violence order. Do you understand your rights? Is that a yes?
Oh, yes.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Howard.
The third arrest, last was in January for criminal trespass. And I think it's criminal trespass and damage. Hold on. Yeah, and damage to property. That's a $5,000 pretrial bond and a 2017 driving without a valid license conviction.
Okay. All right, Ms. Huda.
Thank you, Your Honor. That the criminal trespass case that pretrial referenced is 23 CR 00193G. It's actually scheduled for a plea calendar this coming week, 8/31, in front of Judge Mather. And the mother, who is the victim on this case, is also the victim in the criminal trespass case from January. But on the date of 8/25/2023, the defendant did go to 3612 Guinness Circle, which is the home of her mother, LaTanya Berry. And she is excluded from that residence by civil action filed at number 2023 CV 382771. She did admit to officers that she had been served with the family protection order. Your Honor, for that reason, we're asking for a $5,000 surety bond, a stay away from the 3612 Guinness Circle address, no further contact with her mother, LaTanya Berry, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, is Ms. Berry present? All right, hearing and seeing none, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Ms. Berry. She is 23 years of age. She does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Ms. Berry is a high school graduate. She has very limited criminal history. I did not hear any convictions for any violent offenses. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond on her behalf.
All right. Defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond. She's to have no contact with Miss Latanya Berry and stay away from that location on Guinness Circle. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further.
All right. Best of luck to you. What do we have next? I'm sorry, what position is this?
Number 6, I'm sorry.
6. All right, thank you. All right, good afternoon.
Good
Your
afternoon.
your case, Ms. Francis, is 23 CR 005208D. In this case, you're charged with reckless conduct, failure to obey traffic signs, and reckless driving with the offense date of November the 18th of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Second arrest. Last was 2014 out of New York. It says act in manner injured child less than 17. And
Act is,
resist.
I'm sorry, act is what?
I don't know. Maybe it's cruel to the children out of New York. It just says less than, I guess, 17 years old. I'm not sure. And a resisting arrest. The resisting arrest was a conviction. I think the other charge was dropped.
Okay. All right, Ms. Hudak.
Your Honor, this did occur back on November 18th of 2022. On that date, Major Adams was working traffic detail at Morris Brandon Elementary School located at 2741 Howell Mill Road. On that date, the defendant disregarded his commands to not enter an area with signs advertising that there's no left turn allowed during carpool. She then backed up her vehicle after initially stopping, but then accelerated her vehicle towards the officer, putting him at risk. She then drove her vehicle recklessly and at a high rate of speed through the parking lot populated by other children and adults. Your Honor, because of her minimal background, the fact that this did occur in November of last year, we are recommending a $3,000 signature bond, $1,000 at each count. Stay away from Morris Brandon Elementary School unless she has minor children still attending the school. And in that case, we would ask that there be no inappropriate contact with anybody on the school grounds, and certainly no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. I'm inclined to grant that signature bond. Mr. Coleman, do you have any objection or anything additional you'd like to add?
No objection to the signature bond.
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000 SLB through the jail, $1,000 each count. She is to stay away from Morris Brandon Elementary unless she has a child enrolled in that school. If she does, she is to maintain adequate and appropriate contact while there. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further.
No,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you. What do we have next?
Number 9.
All right. Thank you. This is Shantae Jackson.
Yes.
All right, your case is 23 CR 005205C, in which you're charged with battery, theft by shoplifting, and disorderly conduct. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
Third arrest. 2023 obstruction giving false name. 2019 giving false name, possession of marijuana.
Okay, Ms. Hudak, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. This offense did occur on August 24th of 2023 at the Chevron located at 5110 Old National Highway. In this matter, the officers were called to the Chevron. They spoke to the store clerk, Mr. Rajman Singh, S-I-N-G-H, who stated that the defendant and another man, unidentified, came into the store, picked up beer and chips, and tried to walk out. Mr. Singh intercepted them and locked the door so they couldn't leave. He asked them to return the items that they took. They did so. He then unlocked the front door and they walked out. The male left the property altogether, but the female, identified as the defendant, returned back inside, walked over to the front cooler, grabbed a beer, and tried to walk out. He tried to stop her and she threw a beer at Mr. Singh. The beer can at Mr. Singh. She aggressively swung and hit him on the side of the face, causing a small laceration and abrasions on the side of his arm. She also aggressively swiped other items off the shelves and attempted to enter a private office. Your Honor, we're asking for a $5,000 good bond in this case. $3,000 at the battery, $1,000 at the retail theft, $1,000 at the disorderly conduct, 1 day anger awareness and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And Your Honor, if you could call for the victim in this matter. We did have contact with him.
Last name was Singh. Mr. Singh, if you're here and would like to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so.
And Your Honor, if I could too, I don't know if I said it, but we want to clarify that we would like to stay away from the Chevron gas station and certainly no further contact with Mr. Singh.
All right, understood. Thank you. Mr. Coleman?
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond from Ms. Jackson. She is 28 years of age. She does have an associate's degree from Georgia Southwestern University. However, Ms. Jackson is presently not working, therefore she has no money to post for bond. She has a very limited criminal history, only 3rd arrest. The last arrest was for a nonviolent offense. I remind the court at this time that these are just allegations against Ms. Jackson. We will be requesting a signature bond.
All right. At this time, defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond, 1,000 count one, and 500 on each remaining count. She's to have no contact with Mr. Singh and stay away from that location on Old National Highway. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further.
All right. Best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
How much was that?
2,000. I'm sorry, which number do we have?
Well,
12. All right. Ms. Marks, your case is 23 CR 005204A. You're charged with battery family violence in this case with the offense date of August the 25th. You understand your rights?
yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
6 total. Last arrest was in June for obstruction out of Harris County. She has a DUI arrest as well. That's pretty much all I got.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Falk. You're muted, Ms. Falk. We still can't hear you. I don't know.
I'm pressing the button, I swear.
There you are. There you are. Good to hear you now. Please proceed, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This happened August 25th, 2023 at 5361 Lewis, the 14th lane, South Fulton. Officers spoke with Antonio Marks, who stated he was arguing with the defendant, who is his wife. The argument turned physical when the defendant decided to bite him on the left forearm. Officers did observe a fresh bite mark on his arm, and when questioned, the defendant advised that nothing happened, but then later changed her story, said he punched her, but the officers didn't see any physical injury whatsoever to Ms. Marks. We did attempt to get in contact with Mr. Marks, and we would like to sound for him. We would like to note that although her cycles before June 2023 are remote, we do have some concerns that she was most recently arrested approximately 2 months ago for a DUI obstruction out of Harris County. We are asking for a $3,000 surety bond that she stay away from that address at 5361 Lewis 14th Lane in South Fulton. No further contact with Mr. Antonio Marks, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We are asking for those conditions due to the less than 24 hours that has elapsed between this incident and now. This happened last night at 8 p.m.
All right, is Mr. Marks present? Or wishes to make a statement? All right, I don't hear or see Mr. Marks. So Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor. My client is 53 years old. She was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. She is married to Mr. Marks, and she denies the allegation that she was a first aggressor. She was actually not a first aggressor. That's what she says, claiming the self-defense. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond. She did not have any previous violence offense. And Your Honor, she has she starts her work on Monday at Delta, and it's a very, very important. She has to keep this job. So we would like to have her to be released so she can go back to work. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I'm sorry, let me check one thing. All right, Ms. Marks will receive a $1,500 surety bond. She's to have no contact with Mr. Marks at this time. Had Mr. Marks been present, I might have reconsidered that. She's to stay away from that incident location. And she is also to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. She can return one time with law enforcement to get any necessary items. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further from defense, Your Honor.
I know you have a question. The best thing for you to do is speak to Ms. Kim. I don't want you to make a mistake and say something that the state will use against you, okay? Do you have a question? Okay, I can't, you can go ahead and unmute her at courtroom 2. Oh, she's departed. Ms. Kim, if you would give her a call.
Yeah, I'll be happy to call her. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Number 2, Allen.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Allen. Your case number is 23 CR 005212J. You're charged with simple battery family violence. Do you understand your rights? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This cut out for a second. I thought you all lost me. I'm glad you can still see me. All right, Mr. Howard, please proceed with the history.
It's a first.
Oh, all right, thank you. All right, Ms. Huda, please proceed.
Your Honor, this incident did occur back on April 13th of 2023 at the Beacon Ridge Apartments located at 5401 Old National Highway in the city of South Fulton. Officers went to that location, which is the residence of the victim by name of Toni, T-O-N-I, Taylor Williams. She told officers that the defendant, Mr. Allen, who is the father of her infant child, came over and became angry when she wouldn't let him in the apartment. He snatched her cell phone out of her hand, and as she was attempting to follow him to retrieve the cell phone, she tripped and fell to the ground. While on the ground, he kicked her in the stomach. The incident was captured on Miss Taylor Williams's security camera. Your Honor, we are asking for a $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with Miss Taylor Williams, stay away from the Beacon Ridge Apartments address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And at the appropriate time, we would ask that you sound for Ms. Taylor Williams.
All right, is Ms. Taylor Williams present and wishes to make a statement? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Coleman?
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Allen. He is 30 years of age. He does have an address here in Fulton County. Mr. Allen is a high school graduate. He's currently employed at Hilton Hotels as a chief engineer. He's the father of one child, age 1. This is his first arrest. I'd be requesting a signature bond.
All right, defendant will receive a $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. He is to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no contact with Ms. Taylor Williams. They can arrange to transport the child by coordinating with a third party. Additionally, he should stay away from that address at Beacon Ridge Apartment and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
4,
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. Your case is 23 CR 005210Y. You're charged with criminal trespass. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
19 total. Last arrest was on the 12th of this month for trespass out of the cab. 2012 probation, obstruction, conviction, and failure to appear.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hudak.
Thank you, Your Honor. This offense did occur on August 25th of this year at a home located at 50 Valley Road, Northwest Atlanta. Officers initially went to that location on the 24th and learned that the defendant, Mr. Harry Brown, had taken possession of that home that had been on the market since February by fraudulently claiming he rented it from Braveheart Realty for $17,000. He was unable to provide any documentation, lease agreement, payment history to support this claim. He was told by police officers to vacate the premises immediately. The next day, the officers and the owner, Mr. George Duffield Overend, Overend, returned to the home. Officers knocked on the door and the defendant refused to answer. He had taped over door locks so that nobody could enter. Several attempts were made by officers to resolve the issue. Ultimately, one officer distracted the defendant while another made entry through the rear and took the defendant into custody. Your Honor, because of the very recent criminal trespass charge out of DeKalb County and the fact that he had taken possession of this home, we would note that his bond is already set at a $15,000 cash bond, and we would ask the court to allow it to remain where it is. Regardless of what this court decides, we would ask that he have no further contact with Mr. George Duffield, Duffield, Overend, and to stay away from the 50 Valley Road Northwest Atlanta address. Also, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
I see Mr. Overend on the screen. Mr. Overend, if you'd like to make a statement, please unmute your screen and raise your right hand.
I do not wish to make a statement.
Understood. Thank you. Mr. Coleman, please proceed.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting signature bond from Mr. Brown. He is 47 years of age. Mr. Brown has attended 2 years of college. He is self-employed, working in the music industry for the last 7 years. He is the father of one child, age 12. Briefly speaking with Mr. Brown regarding the facts of this case, it appears that he himself is actually a victim of a scam in renting this house. He has no violence in his criminal history. This is a nonviolent offense for which he is before the court today. I'd be requesting a signature bond.
All right, defendant, let me check one thing. All right. All right,
And-
Mr. Brown, go ahead,
Your
Ms.
Honor, I apologize.
Quickly.
Mr. Overend. The defendant has items in the home, in the location, and they need to be removed from the location. So prior to the 29th of this month. So depending on what you set your bond, we would ask for a one-time police escort to remove those items from the location.
Yeah, that was something that Mr. Brown spoke to me about, that he was not given an opportunity to remove his belongings from the house before the police arrived.
Defendant will receive an $8,000 surety bond. He is to stay away from that location on Valley Road. He can return one time with law enforcement to get any items that may still be at that location. He is to have no contact whatsoever with Mr. Overend and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Again, I'd be requesting a lower bond if the court is inclined to give a signature bond.
I understand, but my bond will remain as set.
Thank you, Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Number 5, Coates.
Okay. Are you Blakely Coates? All right, your case is 23 CR 005209F. You're charged with simple battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Howard?
Fourth arrest, last was 2022 for speeding in the FTA. He don't have any violence that I saw.
Okay. Ms. Hudak?
That's correct, Your Honor. This offense did happen yesterday at 987 Bolton Road. Officers were called to the scene for a dispute. They were flagged down by Mr. Coates when they approached the scene. He showed them a video of the victim in this case, Miss Odisha Rolle, Rolle, who is his wife. The video showed her pulling his hair and pushing him to the ground. An additional unit responded and was called to speak to the victim, Ms. Rolle, who told officers that the fight started earlier in the day and escalated when the victim, Ms. Rolle, went to the car to look for some personal items. Mr. Coates followed her, grabbed her shirt, and pulled her out of the vehicle. He took her cell phone and threw it, then squared up and punched her in the face. She then got up and punched him back, and they began to tussle. Officers did observe marks and bruises to her eye, neck, and knees. He complained of back and neck pain. They both did call 911. Your Honor, our office was able to speak to Mrs. Rolle. We believe that she is present here on the Zoom. They do share, they've been married for 1.5 years, share a daughter, and do reside at the 987 Bolton Road address. Victim stated that they do have a DV history and she does fear for her safety. Their social services are involved with the family. Ms. Rolle confirmed events in the warrant and said that he is abusive to her. She would like a no contact order, a stay away from the 987 Bolton Road residence. Sorry, Your Honor. Saturdays are tough sometimes. A one-time police escort to gather some of her belongings, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond, and a $5,000 good bond, Your Honor. And a sound for the victim.
All right, is Ms. Rose present? Who wishes to make a statement?
Present, but I don't wish to make a statement.
All right, understood. Thank you. Mr. Coleman?
Yeah, I'd be requesting a signature bond from Mr. Coates. He is 31 years of age. He does have the address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Mr. Coates attended 3 years of college at Alabama A&M. He is the father of the one child, age 1 month. He's currently employed at Aluminum Technology for the last 8 months. He has a very brief criminal history, only 4th arrest, no violent arrests in that criminal history. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond.
All right, and I'm sorry, Ms. Hudak, explain again, you were saying that she wanted to get her items?
No, she wants him to get his items. A one-time police escort. To
Okay,
get
that's what I thought.
Mhm.
All right, thank you. Defendant is gonna receive a $8,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. He's to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no contact with the alleged victim. He can return to the address on Bolton Road 1 time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Was that pretrial?
Yes,
We have position number 7,
you said 7?
correct?
All right, Justin Garman, your case is 23 CR 0052078. You're charged with battery, family violence, and obstruction with the offense date of August the 24th. Do you understand your rights?
No.
All right, Mr. Howard.
4th arrest. You got an open case in Superior Court, a sale of marijuana, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. It's 23 SC 185997, 2018 robbery conviction. That's it.
Okay. Ms. Hudak?
That is correct, Your Honor. So this incident did happen on 8/24 at the Travel Lodge located at 2471 Old National Parkway. Officers were called there by the victim. I'll just spell it, Keillah Jones. So they were called by Miss Jones's sister, who is a Ms. Heaven Beard. When the officers arrived, they spoke to Miss Beard, who told them that her sister, Ms. Jones, sent her some disturbing text messages, which she actually believed to be from the defendant, Justin Garman. Ms. Jones and Mr. Garman are boyfriend, girlfriend. So she went to the Travel Lodge concerned for her sister's safety. At that time, she did see the defendant physically assaulting her sister. Ms. Beard tried to approach her sister, but Mr. Gorman blocked the door and wouldn't allow the victim to leave the room. At that time, Ms. Beard decided she should call the police. When the officers, after they spoke to Ms. Beard, they made eye contact with the defendant and asked if they could speak to him. The defendant began to walk away. The officer told him to stop, but Mr. Gorman fled on foot. He was eventually detained at the Valero gas station down the street. Officers then spoke to the victim, Ms. Jones, who had a busted lip and several marks and bruises on her neck and chest area. She initially denied anything physical happened and then told officers it was her fault because she lied to him about confronting him about her cheating on him. She said when she lied to him, he grabbed her shirt, pulling it, then released her shirt to grab her by the neck with his hands. She attempted to protect herself by striking him in the face. She told officers that she is pregnant with his child and that they had lived together in the past. Your Honor, we did make contact with the victim. They do not reside together currently. She resides in Chicago and she travels back and forth between Chicago and Atlanta. The victim's stance is that she does not fear the defendant and she wants to have contact with him. Despite that, because of the open firearms case, because of the nature of the injuries to the victim and the recency of the incident, we are asking for a $6,000 good bond total, $5,000 at the battery, $1,000 at the willful obstruction, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and the state is requesting a no further contact and a stay away order.
All right, I'm sounding for, is it Ms. Jones?
Ms.
Ms.
Jones.
Jones, Ms. Jones, are you present and wish to make a statement? All right, hearing none, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Garman. He is 24 years of age. He does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Mr. Garman is a high school graduate. He's currently employed at Bronco Enterprises as a technician for the last 3 months. He has a brief criminal history. I remind the court at this time that these are just allegations against Mr. Garman. And again, I'd be requesting a signature bond.
All right, at this time, defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond, 1,500 count 1, 500 count 2. He's to have no contact with Ms. Jones and stay away from that location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further.
All right, best of luck to you, sir.
Position 8.
All right, will you pronounce your first name for me?
Laurentius.
All right, Laurentius Holly, your case is 23 CR 0052006E. You're charged with simple battery with the offense date of July the 29th. You understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is his first. We will go straight to Ms. Hudak.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident did occur on July 29th of 2023 at the Piccadilly Restaurant at 2449 Godby Road in College Park. Officers went to the restaurant for the report of a dispute. They were told that the defendant, Mr. Hawley, entered the restaurant and got into a verbal argument with the manager, Trinice Jones, over paying for food. And Trinice is spelled Traneise. The defendant got angry and threw a plate of food that he brought to the register. He was actually escorted out of the restaurant by a deputy sheriff that happened to be eating at the location. But he then re-entered the restaurant and threw a bottle of water at Ms. Jones, striking her in the arm. He then left in a Honda Civic. Witnesses were able to get the license plate number of the Civic, and the defendant was identified via the vehicle registration information. Officers made contact via telephone with Mr. Hollis. He admitted to throwing the bottle at Ms. Jones, but not causing injury. Your Honor, we are requesting a $3,000 good bond to stay away from the Piccadilly Restaurant, no further contact with the manager, Ms. Jones, 1 day anger awareness, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. We were able to make contact with Ms. Jones. We believe that she's not present because she's working, but if you wanted to just sound for her one time, thank you.
All right, I'm sounding for Ms. Jones. All right, in light of the information before me, Mr. Coleman, I'm inclined to give him a signature bond through pretrial. Is there any objections or anything you'd like to add?
No objection.
All right, defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge if he was not recommended. He is to take the 1 day anger awareness course, have no contact with Ms. Jones, and stay away from that restaurant on Godby Road. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 10 and 11.
All right. This is Jaquez Magsby. In the case of at position 10, it's 23 CR 00520E, in which you're charged with criminal trespass and simple assault with the offense date of August the 17th. In the case at position 11, 23 CR 00520E, you're charged with theft by shoplifting with the offense date of August the 10th. You understand your rights? Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard?
9th arrest. Last was in May. Burglary, robbery, theft by taking. It's 23 CP 218815. Got an open shoplifting in state court. 23 CR 003-644E. 2022 battery DV arrest. 2019 disorderly conduct conviction, probation. And a 2011 possession of tools trespass conviction.
All right, thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This happened August 10th, 2023 at DD's Discount at 590 Cascade Road in Atlanta. excuse me, I just wanted to let you know I'm starting with the theft by shoplifting. The defendant entered and began stealing clothes from the store and was walking out with that clothing. The amount of the item stolen was $181.87. He had previously stolen from that location, and the officer was shown surveillance video which showed the defendant walking out of the store with a bundle of items in his hands. The officer did see the defendant, who then fled the scene. August 17th, 7 days later, the defendant was at 590 Cascade Road in Atlanta, which is the Kroger. Officers were dispatched there. They spoke with Edward Brown, who stated that the defendant came into the location and tried to steal a steak. Upon trying to apprehend the defendant, he began trying to punch Mr. Brown several times. The defendant had been previously trespassed from that location on April 10th, 2023 for stealing a steak. I just want to point out that on that burglary, robbery, theft case, 23 CP 218815, the defendant was given a $23,000 surety bond on May 26, 2023. The CR case that pretrial cited to that theft by shoplifting, the defendant was given a $3,000 signature bond through the jail and a stay away from Dee Dee's discount store at 590 Cascade Road, which is where the first offense happened, as well as no further contact with Miss Jackson. That was signed by Judge Morrow on June 8th, 2023, so less than 90 days ago. We are asking for a $2,000 surety bond on the theft by shoplifting, stay away from 590 Cascade Road, D&D's discount store, no alcohol, weapons. On the obstruction and the assault charges, we're asking for a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each charge, stay away from Kroger at 590 Cascade Road in Atlanta, no further contact with Edward Brown, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. That's all for the state. And I'm not sure if Mr. Edward Brown is here, but we would like to sound for him just in case.
All right, I'm sounding for Mr. Brown. Hearing and seeing none, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 31 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. He is gainfully employed at Green and Youth Foundation. He does a landscaping business. He's been doing that for the last 5 years. And yet, since he has to take care of 5 minor children, Your Honor, he is qualified for public defender services. He graduated from successfully high school, and Your Honor, his daughter is actually having a birthday party tomorrow, and so he's eager to go out and take care of the children, including her baby girl's 8th birthday. He is financially solely responsible for him and his 5 children. We would like to request for his signature on bond. He does suffer from seizures time to time, and his sister is supporting him to take care of children as well. But definitely he does not have much funds to pay for the bond. Thank you.
All right, defendant will receive a $3,000 total surety bond. On position 10, that'll be $1,000 for the criminal trespass, $1,000 for the simple assault. To stay away from that location and have no contact with Mr. Brown, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. For position 11, it's $1,000 surety bond. He is to also stay away from that incident location, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. So it's $3,000 combined with both positions. All right, best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the state would like to make one request. If we could have the previous open theft by shoplifting placed on the SAP calendar, as well as this offense. The previous open theft by shoplifting is 23 CR 003644E.
I think in order to do that, we'll have to email Mr. Jordan, Ms. Folk. But I don't think that should be a challenge.
Okay, I know that usually the litigation manager can just put a note to Mr. Jordan to have them placed on the SAP.
I've seen it not happen, so maybe do both.
Got it.
All right.
Understood.
All right, thank you. Best of
Yeah,
luck.
there was a $3,000 total bond on the first case and $1,000 on the second.
No, 3,000 is, he has to make 3,000 total in all. 2,000 on position 10, 1,000 on position 11.
Thank you.
All right, what do we have next?
Number 14.
All right, Jonathan Perkles, I'm sorry, Am I pronouncing that correctly?
It's Factory.
Okay, your case is 23 CR 005199G. You're charged with 2 counts of reckless conduct. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hart, can I have the history, please?
Second arrest, last was 2015 out of Florida. It says municipal ordinance violation. A resident of Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. I just have one question before we get started. Is the reset date September 7th?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in this case, what occurred was the officers were called out to 550 Abernathy Road, apartment 640 in Sandy Springs on August 25th. They met with a male and female who stated that they had seen a child, MP, 3 years of age, who had been outside for approximately 30 minutes crawling under vehicles. When the officers made contact with the child, they found a smudge on the child's head that was consistent with what the male and female who observed the child and had the child with them told the officers. The officers then went to the apartment 640, found that the door was open. They found an 8-year-old NP who was asleep on the couch. So both NP and MP had been left completely unsupervised. The officers then spoke to the children's mother through the Ring doorbell. They observed, as after they spoke to her, they observed the defendant pull up. The mother said she was on her way home. They then spoke to the defendant, who advised he was at the Shell gas station down the block. He stated he had left at 6:30. The officers looked at the poll cameras in that area and saw the defendant driving in that area at 6:17 p.m. So by the time that anyone arrived to the scene, it was 8 o'clock. The children had been left unattended for approximately an hour and 42 minutes, which, as you know, with a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old is more than enough time for them to get into just chaos. And so we do have concerns on this case. We did speak with the mother of the children. She stated they have been married. She's been married to the defendant for 8 years. They shared the 2 children and they reside at that address. She stated he has never left the children alone, and she was at work and he left the children sleeping when he went to the store to get food, which completely contradicts the defendant's own statement that he went to the Shell gas station, and also is very confusing because who's at the Shell gas station for an hour and 42 minutes? She stated when she reviewed the camera, she saw the defendant lock the door and she's not sure how the 3-year-old escaped. She also stated DFAX has already contacted her and she wants the defendant to return to the residence. The state has some serious concerns here, Your Honor. I don't know what was going on for that hour and 42 minutes, but the children were left completely unsupervised. One actually got out of the house and was crawling around under cars, which in and of itself is a very dangerous situation had somebody not seen this child and proceeded to drive out. For that reason, we're asking for a $5,000 surety bond, $2,500 per charge. We're asking that the defendant have no further unsupervised contact with the children, that he comply with all DFAX orders, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and that he take a parenting class. That's all for the state.
All right. Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to request for a signature on bond, Your Honor. This is his first offense ever, and he is actually recommended for unsecured judicial relief. Your Honor, this is first time ever this happening, and he has been here in Georgia for 1.5 years. He used to have his own trucking company, but he lost his company because it was not doing well with all the pandemic and all the dramas that he has to go through. He is starting his new job this coming Monday. He does not have a bond from himself alone to take care of this bond unless his wife supports him. So we would like to request for a signature on bond. And he does have an associate degree and he studied engineering. I really want him to start his new job on Monday so that kids can go to proper daycare and get and also as long as he complies to DFAX, I think a signature on bond is appropriate for this case. Thank you.
I'm gonna accept the state's recommendation in this case. It'll be a $5,000 surety bond, 2,500 each count. He's to have no no unsupervised contact with those children. I'm not gonna require the parenting class at this juncture, but additionally, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Number 16.
All right, Mr. Price, your
And the-
case,
And wife,
I'm sorry, who's speaking?
Jonathan wife.
Okay, we've addressed that case, and because you're not a direct victim, we're not gonna hear a statement from you at this time, all right? Best of luck to you. If you have questions, please call his attorney, Ms. Kim.
Your Honor, but she is representing her minor children who are the victims of this case, though.
All right,
Mother.
Miss, would you like to make a statement?
Yes.
Raise your
said
right hand, raise your right hand. Again, what I'm concerned with today, wait, raise your right hand. Do you swear in the affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
You said the bond is $5,000.
That's a question. I'm asking if you'd like to make a statement at this point. If you have questions about the bond, the best thing to do is to speak to Ms. Kim.
Okay.
I'll text you my address, my phone number.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, that's the luck to you. All right, let's move to the next position. I apologize. What number was this again? Mr. Number 16?
It's just yes, Price, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Price, your case is 23 CR 005197J. You're charged with possession of a pistol or revolver by someone under the age of 18. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
A second adult arrest. I got October 2022, possession of a pistol or revolver by a person under 18 years of age.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor, and that case is out of DeKalb County. It's 23C01043. The defendant was bonded out on that case, but then was received an FTA because he failed to show up at his arraignment on July 11th, 2023, according to the clerk's record. There is a current FTA out for his arrest. This incident happened August 24th, 2023, so less than 2 days ago at 250 10th Street Northwest in Atlanta. The defendant had a black and silver Taurus G2C 9mm in his backpack. The state doesn't have any additional information as to how the stop occurred or any other of the in details surrounding the stop. I will state that this is the second time this defendant has been arrested for possession of a firearm of a person under 18, and he's currently out on he currently has an FTA for his previous case out of DeKalb County. For those reasons, the state does have serious concerns about the danger to the community, as well as the fact that the defendant is a serious flight risk at this point since he already has an FTA. We are requesting a $20,000 surety bond, stay away from that area, 250 10th Street Northwest Atlanta, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons whatsoever, and no firearms.
All right, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, he is only 17 years old, Your Honor, and he is still, actually, he just graduated from high school this May 2023, and he is planning to get a Job Corps. Your Honor, he is a very good rapper. He's very interested in music and business. And we would like to request for signature on bond on the condition that his mother becomes a co-signer. Miss Annika Price is here in the Zoom hearing. She is willing to be a co-signer to make sure that her son comes to the court. Sometimes it is easy to be distracted and get the failure to appear. We would like to make sure that his mom, who resides with him, will be able to make sure that he comes to court. I would like to request for signature on bond. Thanks, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, my apologies. I actually just saw a report that was attached to the warrants that I did not observe. Essentially, the background on this very quickly is that the defendants were, he as well as 6 juveniles were at that ramp at Techwood Drive and 10th Street, impeding traffic, selling water bottles. The officers approached. They fled, they caught up with the defendant and found a handgun on him.
At this time, defendant will receive a $10,000 surety bond. He is to stay away from that location on 10th Street and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, including the subject weapon. Is there anything further from either party? I believe that completes the calendar except for the waived appearance, so courtroom 2 can be excused. All right, we will now take up the waived position 17. I'm sorry, I lost my calendar right in a tab somewhere. I believe that's the case of Keisha Smith, 23 CR 0052022Y, in which defendant was charged with criminal trespass. Mr. Howard, can we have the history?
Your
Fourth
Honor,
arrest.
actually, I apologize, but I apologize for interruption, but I need to ask for mental health issues here, so I need to ask for a breakout room or
Okay.
make sure the live stream is off.
We can go into a breakout. Can I be placed in a breakout with Ms. Falk and Ms. Kim, please?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let me give you the history real quick though.
All right, go ahead. Yes.
Fourth arrest. Last was 2019 obstruction of trade, giving false name out of Bibb County. She's a resident of Macon. 2019 obstruction conviction, 2014 trespass. That's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, if we can go into the breakout now, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, Ms. Smith will receive a $3,000 SOB through the jail. She's to stay away from Grady Hospital unless receiving medical treatment or services, and she's to undergo BHET. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further? I believe we've completed the entire calendar. If Ms. Champion would review it for me?
Judge Williams, before we do that, can we just put BHET before release?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. That's it.
I think that's typically how we see it, but yes, for sure.
Just want to make sure.
Okay. All right, if we can review the calendar.
Position number one is a total of a $2,500 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number two is a $5,000 pretrial bond per judge reset further notice. Position number three is a $1,500 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number four is a $8,000 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number five is a $8,000 pretrial bond reset further notice per judge. Position number six is a total of a $3,000 sign no bond through the jail reset further notice. Position number seven is a total of a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number eight is a $3,000 pretrial bond per judge reset further notice. Position number nine is a total of a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number 10 is a total of a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number 11 is the $1,000 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number 12 is a $1,500 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number 13 is a total of a $1,000 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number 14 is a total of a $5,000 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number 15 is the $4,500 good bond reset SAP 97. Position number 16 is a $10,000 good bond reset SAP 97. And position number 17 is a $3,000 sign-on bond through the jail reset further notice. Any questions?
All right, hearing none, I believe we will be in recess until Monday's SCA calendar, at which time I think it's me. I think I'll be presiding. So take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Miss Anika, I will call you right